it's called the Great One.
Oh, it had to be the Great One, Jackie Leeson. We've been talking. So it's a 9-minute Phill-Up. Oh, yeah, we got to get rid of this thing for a second. Here we go. It's sponsored by Valley Converting. So, of course, Valley Converting up in the Gem City, T-Town, Toronto, Ohio. Mike Biasi and the crew up there, they'll take care of you. Rich, if you have any paperwork you want to get rid of, any sensitive documents, take them up there. They'll put them in the beater.
Send him to Mike.
Turn in the post.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll take care of it. You know, medical records, any of that
those
stuff.
Commercials for years, man.
Yeah.
Those kids are all grown up now.
Oh, I know. That's the thing. They're all grown up. Well, if you don't know by now, this is Rich Donnelly, Steubenville's own, the Ohio Valley's own, and a world champion himself. Not just in the World Series, but also in the World
Baseball Classic.
World Baseball Classic.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so what we've decided. We asked, and Rich was kind enough to take pity on us and say, "Yeah, I'll come talk some baseball." We talked, if you recall, about the postseason getting started, and we talked about all the teams, and Pete Rose had passed, and we talked about that. So a lot going on in the world of baseball. But now we are down to the final two, and if you're a television executive anywhere, you're happy. This is manna from heaven. This is what you want. You want
New York and LA.
New York and LA. You can't get any better because there's a lot of fans in between. Where if you'd gone Mets and Yankees, then everybody's it's New York series. No one cares. I think if Cleveland had gotten in, would have been exciting. Mm-hmm. But it's the Yankees and the Dodgers. And, like I know, they're the biggest stars.
Oh.
Those lineups are loaded.
I remember in grade school and high school, they used to let us, back then the World Series was in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I went to Cathedral, grade school, and Central. Mm-hmm. And the nuns used to have a TV in the room. And they used to let us watch the World Series like during your.
Well, wait, Rich, wait a minute. You're going to ruin the nuns' reputation.
Hey,
I ever hear is cracking the knuckles with the rulers.
The nuns were playing parlays back then. They had the Pirates in 6 games, or the Yankees over and under. I mean, they knew what was going. They knew the batting order. The one nun said, we went in there one day, Sister Annunciata, and she says, if you could write the Pirates and Yankees batting order up on the board, you'll get an A for the day. So, of course, that was great. Yeah. That's the only way I could get one. Yeah. I couldn't get one from the book. I know that.
So we went through the postseason, and I thought it was a fantastic postseason for if you're a baseball fan, wanted to see the Mets-Phillies series was phenomenal at the beginning of the playoffs. And then the Brewers with Alonso and I mean,
and then the Guardians on that comeback win they had against was the Yankees.
Oh yeah, against Detroit, just to get to
these walk-off home runs and all this. It was a great playoff, great for baseball.
Now we'll briefly cover the Indians because they're the local team. A lot of people follow them. Where do they go from here? What do you think? Is it still a team that's young enough? I guess a lot depends on contracts and a lot of that things. Who you keep, if you're going to let anyone go. But it seems like they have some players that they can still compete for some time. I
think each team that didn't get to this final two, they have a little deficiency somewhere, and then you try to figure out. From what I've seen with the Indians, they might have a little deficiency in their pitching. So in the winter, you go out, you might add a reliever. They got the best reliever in baseball, so you might add a setup guy. Their offense looked plenty. And you think of it, they came within 1 game of going to the World Series, so they're not that far away. So you don't have to go out and make a bunch of wholesale changes. The thing you have to look at, who on your team is a free agent that you might lose, and then what free agents are out there that you could afford to bring in. Yeah. Pittsburgh's in the same situation, although they didn't get as far as the Guardians. Pittsburgh is top heavy with pitching. What do they need? They need hitting. Yeah. So you go to a team like the Red Sox, who has all kind of hitters in their minor leagues, and you might have to trade one of your top pitchers maybe for 2 hitters. But each team has a deficiency that they have 3 months to fill, and that's what they'll do now when the series is over, the winter meetings start, and then again find out who's a free agent out there that you could afford. Maybe you have a free agent on your team that you can't let go either. You got to sign him. Like I take Pete Alonso, Polar Bear Pete is a free agent.
You got to keep him if you're the Mets.
If you're the Mets, you're a big market team. You got to make every effort to sign him, because if you don't, he'll be gone in a minute.
And he's a superstar.
Yeah, and they love him.
And in New York,
and they love him. Yeah,
New York, LA, you need superstars.
Yeah,
you can go to Kansas City. Oh, he's solid. We like him. He hits well. Blah, blah, blah. But if he's a superstar, it's a bonus.
You gotta keep. To me, you gotta keep your good. You can't let your good players get away, because all that stuff of loyalty is different. Back in the old days when we were growing up, there was no free agency, so the teams were the same. You can name the batting order, like I said. You can name it by heart every year. Nowadays, you got guys going everywhere. You got arbitration. You got 6-year free agents. You got free agents that like a Soto.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting too.
Yeah,
well, the Yankees. And then you come back to Pittsburgh. He's not a free agent yet, but in due time, Skeens will be.
Oh, it's all. That's all anyone talks about.
So you're going to sign him, or are you going to let him walk? You got to figure that out.
Oh, Garrett Cole. We saw that. What happened there?
Garrett Cole, Musgrove, Talion.
Yeah,
they all left. So
a lot of
that
pitching
loyalty. The agents. I say this: the players have loyalty, but the agents don't.
Yeah, and if you're going to get paid,
if you're going to get paid double, and they know that before they go into that free agency field, they already know what they're going to get. So
one guy the Indians have to keep, and I will drive up there, is Ramirez. I love watching him play.
Oh,
he's outstanding. He's just a professional hitter. He just goes about his business, and he just seems to get it done whenever you need it.
Well, like I say, they did a heck of a job. Stephen Vogt did a great job in his first year managing. Like I say, their deficiency looks like, as most teams, like the pitching, and as you see in these playoff games, more bullpens are being used than ever before because of starters getting hurt, of starters going to a pitch count. They're in the third inning. They're at 80 pitches. So you end up using your bullpen. And going into the series, which we'll talk about in a minute, I think that's going to be a big factor in this series.
All right, you've been through this before. You go through the playoffs. You were a couple outs away from going to the World Series. You're a win away. What is it like when the season comes to an end? So for the Mets, the Indians, the other playoff teams, when all of a sudden it's okay, we started this back in February, and now all of a sudden it's just there's no game tomorrow. What do we do? What's that emotional feeling that you have?
Well, we had the biggest crusher of all in '92 when we lost to Atlanta. We had the lead going into ninth. Of course, a guy who never played before, Francisco Cabrera, gets a hit, scores the slowest runner that God ever created in Sid Bream.
Nope.
And we didn't get to go to the World Series. I can tell you this, the flight back to Pittsburgh, Andy Van Slyke called it the flight to nowhere. Nobody talked. When we landed at the airport, everybody went to their car. Nobody said goodbye. It was like somebody had passed away in the family. And I came back here to Steubenville, and I was embarrassed to go out of the house for a week. I was embarrassed because somebody was going to say, hey, you blew that game. Hey, you did. And I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to see nothing. I didn't even eat. My wife said, you got to eat. And I was like you say, like somebody had passed away. Then after a week, you look and say, okay, I talked to Jim and said, hey, we got to get back to, to get this thing a little better for next year. And it never goes away. You think I still think of it every day, even though we've been to a World Series and won it. I still think of that night in Atlanta. It was just, I can't even tell you how awful it was. But to your point, you take about a week or 10 days off, and then the players will start to come back in to work out with weight training to get ready for next spring because, right after Christmas, it's here again.
Yep. All right. So now you've had that side of it.
Yeah.
Then you've had the side where, okay, we won. Now we're going to the World Series. What the Dodgers and the Yankees, the Yankees wrapped up on Saturday night. Dodgers wrapped up, was that Monday night or Sunday night? Sunday night. So, it was just a day apart. So they both have basically 4 days to rest before game day. What is that like? How critical is that to have those days off? And is it right on the verge of being too many days off? Yeah, and we've seen Jim Leland with the Detroit teams. They had too much time off. They went from being red hot to stone cold. So how do you go through this week to prepare?
We had a couple days. I remember when we beat Atlanta, I think we had 4 days like they do now. So the first 2 days we went in every morning, 9 to 12, and we had meetings. We got the scout report from our scout who scouted the Indians, and we went over everything and try to have everything in right. And then in the playoffs, you could add players and subtract players. So we found which player do we need. Like we had a kid named Cliff Floyd. Well, we figured we needed him in the World Series as a DH, but he didn't play in the playoffs because there was no DH.
Yeah.
So you could switch players around. They're still doing it. But it came Wednesday. We did Monday, Tuesday. We had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off.
Did anybody touch a ball on Monday, Tuesday?
No.
Just
Just
rest.
Complete. Then Jim would say we have a workout, and we're going to have the workout at 10 a.m. So I'm thinking, okay. So we go and work out from 10 to 12, and then Jim comes in and goes, hey, the first race over at Calder Racetrack's at 1 o'clock. We're leaving at 12:30. That's why he had to work out. So here's what we did. We went over to the
tension of the World
Series. Over to the racetrack, and we stayed till 5 o'clock, and then we drove out to his house and played 18 holes of golf. His thing was
relax.
Stay busy.
Yeah.
Stay busy.
Yeah.
Don't sit in a room going, okay, how are we going to beat Cleveland? How are we going to? No. Go relax. Go play.
Yeah.
In fact, on the day of the 7th game, we spent the first 3 hours of the day, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 at the racetrack. Just get your mind off it.
Yeah.
You're already prepared.
Yeah.
Don't over prepare.
Hayes in the barn. As
don't do things that you haven't done all year.
Yeah.
Don't panic. Keep doing the same thing. So, but you're on. Yeah, you can't wait for it to start.
Yeah. And what was your read of the players? How they were going through it? You know, how they adjusted to it.
Because they were better than us. The coaches always worried more than the players. The players are like, whatever, and But the hard part for us, for me, I knew we were going to get a share of money. So I'm going, you know what? Let's fly. My wife and I, Roberta, we flew in 23 of our relatives from our kids to our kids' principals at schools who let the kids out. We had 8 kids. We flew in everybody, their wives. We flew in 23 people because maybe that will be their first and last time to actually go to a World Series game. So we did that. They didn't sleep at night. We had about 2 hours sleep every night. Yeah. But it was wononderful. It was wonderful. But having them there, I remember my father-in-law, Bob Guidosh, he came down, my wife's father, and he told me after the World Series, he said, Rich, it was the greatest experience of my life. He says, when Edgar Renteria got that hit, there was a Dominican man sitting in front of him, and he turned around and kissed him right on the lips. He said it was so happy. Everybody was kissing everybody. And he said it was unbelievable. So that, and then my son Bubba said, Dad, it was the greatest experience I've ever had. So it was all worth it.
Yeah,
all those hours of not sleeping. My wife was up all night cooking for everybody, and we had a wonderful time. But
wouldn't trade it for the world.
The hardest part is for the home team players to entertain. Because everybody wants to be there. All your family wants to be there. And you got to go play a ball game. They want to go, hey, let's go here. Let's go. And they had, I remember in Miami, we had dinner. We had a big dinner. We had a big party.
In Miami, much like New York, doesn't
big
sleep.
Party, Wayne Huizinga, Michael, he put on a party you couldn't believe. Yeah. And you try to, you're going to the parties, you're having a good time. And then you're thinking, and they're thinking, no, have a good time. As coaches, we're thinking, oh boy,
easy fellas,
24 more hours, and we got to go. Yeah. We got to go out in the field. So but the experience was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the thing. I knowing Miami the way I do, you can go find some fun in Miami.
But the hardest part for me was waiting. You can't wait till the game starts.
Well, we've got Ron checking in. If anybody has any questions or anything like that, please go ahead and ask him. We will relay them to Rich. So let's see what Ron has to say. It'd be a great time to buy opening day tickets for the Pirates. They play the Yankees in the home opener.
Ooh, didn't know that.
All right, Ron ready to invest some cash.
Way ahead.
Yeah.
Pirates should hire him.
Ron brings the heat every day.
That's pretty good.
He's got another one for us.
How about this? Garrett Cole's pitching today. Garrett Cole will pitch the opener.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, how's that one?
Hey,
How's that one?
How many Boo Birds will be out for
How
that one?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's gonna
that place is sold out already, right?
Yeah.
No problem.
All right, Yankees versus Pirates, April 4th. And the pitching matchup
Cole
is
and
Garrett Cole
Skeens.
against Skeens.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Watch those ticket scalpers.
When can we buy tickets? When can we buy? I might have to request a day off.
They'll be sitting on the roof.
Oof. Yeah, that's.
How about that one? I didn't know
forget
that.
the World Series. Let's go get our tickets. You know anybody? Can you get us in? Yeah, I think I could come up with a media credential. I'm gonna call Jimmy T. Jimmy T. and Dan Hart.
I'll get you in a dugout,
fellas. Let's go. Where are we going?
I'll get you in the dugout.
You want to talk about two great guys?
Oh, Jimmy T is the best.
I'll tell you what. Now Jimmy T. So we can explain it. Jimmy T. and Dan Hart. Jimmy T was the
Jimmy Trudinich.
Jimmy Trudinich, yeah.
Jimmy T.
So Jimmy Trudinich, and but he was the media relations PR person that was the go-between between the media and the players and everything. And Dan Hart was his assistant.
Yeah,
and they just two great guys, and did a great job.
Yeah.
They really did. And I remember when I first started here at TOV. We would go down in the 90s, and you were always great to us, and you would help us out, and you just help us get an interview. And if some of the guys were a little iffy, they were like, "Well, who's this guy coming in from? What is this guy? We don't know this guy."
Yeah.
You're like, he's all right. It's all right. He's from Steubenville," and they would do it. And then I remember the one year, you guys were rolling. It was you had the best team, and guys were kind of like, all right, I got to talk to this guy. I've been talking to people all spring training. I'm trying to get Jay Bell, and Jimmy T's trying to. He's going out the back door of the, and he's like, Bill, I'll get it, and he always found a way to do it. And then I figured out how to do it when I was up at Channel 11, when Burnett was there.
Yeah, I
said, here's the deal. I said, we're gonna go over. I said, he goes, yeah, I'll talk. And I said, how about this? I'll make it even better for you. I said, I've got TAE, KDK, us. And whatever they called the Pittsburgh, whatever the channel the Pirates played on, because it changes all the time. He goes, wait a minute. So I only have to do it one time? Said, I'm leaving today, and I think the other locals are the only one you'll be left with is guys that do your game. So you'll have to do it. And he goes, let's go.
Let's go.
And then KDK and TAE got impatient. Yeah. So I ended up getting a one-on-one with him, and I was like, all right. And then the next year, same thing. He was like, yeah, this works out. I like this. So if you can make it as easy as you can. The other thing for any future broadcasters out there, go to spring training on baseball card day. That means when they're getting their pictures taken for the Topps cards and all that stuff, because they have to go out on the field, get their pictures, take the picture. They're stuck. They're in line.
They have to wait.
They can't go anywhere.
You get them.
So you just grab them as you go. Just a little inside.
That's why you're you, Bill.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a bother is what. So, pardon me. I've had a tickle in my throat all morning. I don't know why. So, let's get down to brass tacks. Dodgers, Yankees, Friday night in LA. Now, I know if you were on the coaching staff, we'd have 3 Dodger dogs down before the game started. You want to worry about an upset stomach that would probably settle you?
They'll be woofing them down. Oh, my Lord.
So, who has the advantage in this series?
Well, I thought about this ever since I found out who was going. For the first time in a long time, you do have the best 2 teams as far as record. You do have the 2 teams with 3 superstars on each team.
Yeah.
You do have the batting averages for the team and the ERA. It's almost identical. Everything is almost even. This is what baseball is supposed to be. Yeah. Once in a while, you'll get a team that's a dark horse, but here you have the 2 biggest cities. Mm-hmm. And like I say, the media loves it. New York and LA, my Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be playing in Yankee Stadium and Dodger Stadium, 2 cathedrals of baseball. And like you say, the Dodgers have Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. Yankees have Soto, Judge, and Stanton. You can't. This is what it's supposed to be. This is what you could talk about, the parity in baseball and all that, but the teams that have won the most games are these 2 teams. Yep. And there's no 2 teams that have 6 bona fide superstars. No 2 teams have 6.
Yeah. You mentioned Freddie Freeman. He's the first baseman. If you don't know, first baseman for the Dodgers. dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury.
Yeah.
I think these 4 days are going to be critical for him.
Yeah.
He gets rehab, and if he can, I mean, because he just hits.
If he can walk, he'll play. Yeah.
He's a professional hitter.
Right.
He's one of those guys. And he was talking about Ohtani the other day, and he just said, he was. I think I'm pretty good at this game. He makes it look easy.
And 3 of those players are from other countries.
Yeah.
So could you imagine what it's going to be like in Tokyo?
Oh, everybody's going to be up
watching that game at whatever hour it'll be on.
Yeah.
Soto, a Latin player.
Yep.
Everybody in the Latin America is going to be watching him.
Yep.
And then you have American players, Judge and Giancarlo. And then you have Mookie Betts from the East, who was a former Boston Red Sox. So you got it all. And then Freddie Freeman was with the Braves. And so you got every geographical location in the world. This will be the most watched World Series game in history because of that.
All right, Clayton Chris, one of our favorite people. He checks and says a lot of baseball knowledge at the table. Yeah, it's all sitting right there. It's all right there, Clayton. And then Shane checks in and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna leave this up to you. What was your most memorable youth sports memory?"
It was when we won the American Legion state championship. The year before, in 1963, we had arguably the best team in any team in Steubenville history. We had 5 guys on that team, 5 that either played in the big leagues or the NFL.
Jeez.
5, and we lost.
And you lost.
And we lost the state championship. The next year, we lose them all. Myself and a kid by the name of Bob McCoskey, who ended up being a great basketball player at Big Red and College of Steubenville Franciscan. We struggled through the year. And Ange Verkera, the great Hall of Fame coach we had, called us the worst team he's ever had in 38 years. And he said he's going to go home. We're playing against Mingo in the county championships.
Yeah.
We lost the first game, best out of 3. He said, "I'm going to go home tonight." I can't do his voice, but everybody who knows Ange knows his voice. He said, "I'm going to get down on my hands and knees, and I'm going to pray to God that we lose this game and get this miserable season over with." Bill, we never lost another game. So winning that state tournament, which was when I was 1951, I was the bat boy when my brother pitched and they were runner-ups. And I remember crying my eyes out, thinking maybe someday I could get back here. But it was like a dream.
Yeah.
Well, it happened. 64, we won the state championship.
Wow.
So
that's awesome. That is awesome. Ron checks in again. Dodgers need those first 2 wins before going to New York, knowing they will be back in LA to finish the series. And if you're in New York, you're just looking for a split.
Hey, I say this.
I'm seeing 7.
I see 7 too. I don't know why, but baseball, the home field doesn't seem to be a big advantage as basketball or football. And I go back again to our history. When we played and we won the World Series, we won games in Atlanta and we won 2 out of 3 in Cleveland. Yeah, with a crowd and everything. Don't make any difference. The 6th game was in Miami. We figured, hey, we're going to win. We're going home. Indians beat us. Yeah. So not too big about. It's very hard to beat a team twice in the playoffs. It usually goes boom, boom, boom. That's why I usually go 7. Yeah. I mean, more often than not, it'll go 6 or 7. But the home field doesn't. If you got a pitcher like Garrett Cole, it don't matter if you're playing down at North End. Hey, he's going to beat you. That's all, and it don't matter. So
who's if you I really like Bueller. I like the way he pitches. If what pitcher has to how valuable is this? The rest, because you talked about everybody getting into the bullpens. The amount of bullpen action in these series leading up to this has been amazing. And you mentioned the starters, they get in 80 pitches and all of a sudden it's the 3rd inning, they've got to make a move. How critical is it for these bullpens to get this rest this week?
Well, I just read an article this morning. This total playoff has used more relievers than any other playoffs but combined. Yeah. So I think the key is going to be which team has a starter who can go 6 or 7 to give that bullpen a day off in case they need him the next day. Tonight you got Cole. Out there, they got. I think they got a Bueller.
Yeah.
They got. I mean, the team that their starting pitching goes further has the edge because these bullpens are being overused. And then when you get down to the end, you're not thinking like you are. Like if you're down the sixth game, in a normal game, you wouldn't use a bullpen guy maybe 3 days in a row because you got to play again 2 or 3 days later. Here, you got one game later.
Yeah.
You got the whole winter to relax.
Yep.
So they're gonna use pitchers that you saw Cleveland. They bring in a closer in the seventh inning.
Yeah.
They didn't do that all year.
And
you do crazy stuff.
And because they come in some 2-3 days in a row, just the fact that they're getting overexposed, it seems like, in a series, it might be, team comes in for a 3-game series. You might see the closer twice, but you might see him the first day and the last day. And you don't have and you're not running into lineups that can go through the lineup so quick, where a lot of times you could, if you wanted to, you could throw the closer 3 days in a row against the team. You're not, I'm just hypothetically. And you might see the first 3 guys in the lineup, the next 3 guys, and the last 3 guys. They may never see a guy this over and over again. Now with these series, these guys can flip their lineups over so quickly. The reliever all of a sudden, wait a minute, I saw Judge yesterday. I don't need to see him again today. If I could have gotten out of the inning, I wouldn't. But now I'm exposed again.
Jim Lee used to say, a lot of these pitchers, these 1-inning pitchers, use 1 inning all year. He said they're like horses.
Mm-hmm.
You bring them in, they come in, they all fired up. And their limit is 20 pitches as hard as they can go. And then they're done.
Yeah.
If you bring them in the 8th inning, they come in, they're all full of snort, like fire, and they fire. Then they go sit down for 20 minutes, then come back out.
Yeah, right.
They lose some of that intensity.
Yeah.
In fact, what Jim Leadon used to do, we used to play the Mets, and they used to bring in Johnny Franco, who was a great reliever.
Yeah.
They brought him in the 8th inning. What Jim would do, he'd tell our hitters, or he'd tell the pitcher who's pitching for us,
Stall.
Yeah. Tell me your arm hurts. I'll come out. We'll talk. We'll bring the trainer out. Everybody goes, what the heck's he doing? Yeah. He's freezing their reliever in a dugout who's like, he's sitting there.
He's fidgety.
He wants him to sit there for 20 minutes and get cold, then bring him out. And every time you try to sneak that guy an extra inning, the guy with Cleveland, they tried to sneak him an inning. You saw what happened.
Yep. We've got contagious tickles.
Jeez.
All right. So, all right. Okay. So, and that's the you talked about the Dodgers or just in general the home field not really mattering that much, and I think in a championship series too, sometimes it's easier to play on the road because I think back use the Penguins as an example. They won 2 Stanley Cups in the early '90s. They won another cup with Detroit or in Detroit, and then they won 2 more back to back. Every single one, the final win came on the road. And I was at the ones in Detroit and in San Jose, and it just seems like, because the whole day, all you're hearing about is, and I remember Game 5 in Pittsburgh for the San Jose, and we had plans as television. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And I looked out the window at PPG before the game. There was 40,000 people outside before the game was even over. They got away, and it was like, okay, we can just go about our business now.
And for the players and coaches, sounds crazy. Can't wait to go on the road.
Yeah.
All the tickets, all the requests. Yeah. When I played here in Pittsburgh, I blocked my driveway off. I got a yellow, and I put it across my driveway because people were driving in and putting their ticket request in my windshield.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I'm serious. I'm serious. I had a couple cars. My kids had cars.
Did the nuns come through and ask for tickets?
No, but I called them. But people would put, I need 4 for Game 3. Put the name. Not can I have 4? I need 4. This is a playoff game. And I tell people this all the time. Say the Pirates are in it. Okay.
Yeah.
They say, Rich, can I get a ticket to the playoff game? You're not allowed to leave 1 ticket. You have to buy the best out of 5. You got to buy
the whole series.
The whole series. The next series, you got to buy all that one, and the World Series, you got to buy all that one. So you got to fork out about $5,000 to go to 1 ticket.
Wow,
I mean, that's the way it is. And when I tell people that, it turned them off, which was great.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
otherwise, back in the day, before the playoffs, I was averaging 40 tickets a night to Pittsburgh. Then some guy figured out in the federal government that if we tax these tickets, we'll make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that's what they do now.
Yeah.
But if you want to buy a playoff, the best out of 5, you got to find the best out of 5. Then if they win, the best out of 5. Then the best out of 7. Then World Series. You got to buy the whole strip. And that sort of discouraged people.
Yeah.
So I can't get you one ticket. I can get you the whole thing. I say, you write me out a check for $4,000, I'll get you that ticket.
Wow.
So but these players can't wait. I couldn't wait to go to Atlanta. I couldn't wait when I was with the Marlins. I mean, all them people came into town. I couldn't wait to go to Cleveland. I couldn't wait, even though it was cold and snowing.
Yeah.
Because they just envelop you the whole day. Hey, you want to go shopping? Shopping.
Yeah.
We got to go. We got to go face Charles Nagy in 2 hours or somebody, And
we're trying to win a World Series.
That's all you're thinking about. Your whole life. It just envelops you.
Ron checks in, and I don't know this off the top of my head. I haven't looked. I don't know if you know this either, but we'll mention it. Local pitcher Michael Grove is still on the Dodgers roster. I believe he's still on the roster. I don't know if he's on the playoff roster.
I have to look and see. I'm not sure. I know.
Yeah, because they can, like you said, they can change that this week.
They can change it every series. So I'm not sure if he's on it or not. I have to check.
Now, and the only time they'd be able to change it during the series is for injury, I would think.
Right. Yeah. Now, they have till Friday or Thursday night to decide. Like, if they have a guy hurt, they can take him off, put him on.
Okay.
Like but I don't.
ESPN has him as day-to-day. So he's a possibility. Yeah. He's a possibility.
But they wait.
That's why Jordan, on her birthday, is the producer extraordinaire.
She is the best.
Absolutely.
She's the best.
Absolutely. History. Jackie Robinson steals home against the Yankees in the World Series. Yogi Berra jumps up, big argument. Safe, not safe,
Thought
whatever. Don Larson. Perfect game. I mean, Sandy Koufax. Yeah, I mean, just you
remember growing up. You remember the Don Larson. You remember the Willie Mays catch in center field at the Polo Grounds.
Yeah.
You remember Bobby Thompson.
Shot her around the world,
hitting a home run. There were 17 games out in August.
Yeah.
Just think of that.
Yeah.
All these great. That's why when we got to the World Series, I spoke up at Malone College last night to the baseball team, and I'm telling you guys, when I grew up on Langley Avenue, I was out in the alley every day by myself.
Yeah.
I was Bill Mazeroski. I was hitting home runs. I was throwing my rocks up and hitting them. I played that game in my basement 100 times. Then you fast forward it to 97,
and you're in
it. I'm in it, and you keep going. We're in it. Everybody, 24 million people are watching. There's 80,000 people here. People in Nairobi are watching the World Series. I mean, China, Japan. This is the most watched event in the world. And when you're little, you never think in a minute that you're going to be in that World
situation.
Series. And when it comes
but you
down,
imagined it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Your imagination apparently was better than mine.
I played that game 100 times.
39B Grandview Drive.
Won every time.
39B Grandview Drive was a part of a apartment complex. It was a duplex, and the wall that we had on the outside of it was just a brick wall, and the whole thing.
That's where you threw your ball.
Oh, Game 7.
Yeah.
I you know how many wins I got in Game 7? It was amazing. I think it was undefeated.
My mom told me we had dinner back in the day at 5:00. You ate on the schedule because your dad worked at the mill, and I'd be down in the basement sweating, like throwing a ball against the wall. I say, Mom, I'll be up. It's the 7th inning. She goes, well, dinner. I said, I can't quit in the middle of the game. I said, the Pirates have to win. So I throw that ball against the wall, and I'd make the Pirates win. I'd accidentally, if I was a Yankee, I'd accidentally miss the ball to make the game go extra. But I played that game. And then growing up, everybody around here would remember the Maz game, the home run.
Oh, yeah.
So, man, I felt like that was the zenith of my life. Like I was a junior in a freshman in high school. I thought my world was over. That was it.
Yeah.
World Series, you won it. That's it. It's over.
Yeah.
Never thinking that 37 years later, you're going to be in that position, standing there, and you just keep looking around. I remember Matt Williams, the great third baseman.
Yeah.
He came over to me during the 11th inning of that game. I mean.
What a game that was.
And you talk about pressure. He says, Rich, can you spit? Are you nervous? And I went, I couldn't spit. I called it an out of body experience because it doesn't seem, even today, it doesn't seem like it happened. When I look back, I go back and look at the film all the time.
Yeah.
I still get nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we won or not.
Yep.
And then you see Edgar Renteria getting the hit, and we go, okay, we won. It's okay.
Yeah.
And you dream about it that you didn't win.
Yeah. And the thing, I think something that you brought up before, people remember the losses more than you remember the wins.
Oh yeah. Always.
I mean,
we remember the Sid Bream game in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I won a world championship with the Marlins, and I was on it in the World Baseball Class. I remember the Sid Bream game like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And you could probably go through every pitch.
I can go through every pitch of what happened. The umpire who got sick during the game that left. And I remember Chico Lynn, who never made an error the whole year, made a crucial error. And I remember the umpire, John McSherry, he was having a heart attack in the third inning. They took him out. He was calling strikes all day long. They brought in another guy.
All of a sudden, the
strike zone changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are things I remember.
Yeah. Oh, it's just good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So, we've been going here about 40 minutes as we usually do. And that was the thing when I sent you a text saying, "Hey, can you do one?" And I said, "Whatever's best for you." So I figured he was going to pick a day when maybe he had some time to talk. So let's get down to the brass tacks. Is it Ohtani and the Dodgers, or is it Judge? Because I'll tell you what, the baseball executives are selling the Ohtani Judge. It happens once in a generation, but now it's happening twice.
Before I give you my prediction, I've looked at all these World Series way back, and even the playoff games. In our game with Atlanta, it wasn't Chipper Jones, it wasn't Barry Bonds, it was Francisco Cabrera was the hero.
Yep.
Back a couple of years ago when the Angels won the World Series, or the Cardinals won it. It wasn't Albert Pujols. It was David Freese.
Yeah. 3 home runs.
Then it was David Eckstein. Guys who, and then
back in the Yankees, when I was a kid, Brian Doyle at second base. It's like, who's Brian Doyle?
He played for Willie Randolph.
Yeah.
I mean, things.
Willie Randolph, all-time great Yankee, by the way.
Right. He was on our coaching staff too at that WBC. Yeah. But the Indians, the Fry hits the home run. There's going to be a hero in this World Series that no one even knows. No one even knows their name. It happens all the time. And you don't know who it's going to be. That's why it's so neat. Everybody's waiting for Judge, Soto, Stanton, Ohtani, Freeman, Betts. There'll be somebody that nobody can identify that'll be a hero of a game or two. And that guy will be the hero in that town for the rest of his life.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one of those – It's the World Series. Yeah. It really is. And I know some people, it's why they call it the World. How many guys are from all over the world that are on the roster?
When we played, we had guys from 8 different countries on our team. I think we were the first one that had, we had Levon Hernandez, Cuba. Yeah. Edgar Renteria, Colombia. Who was the umpire that was behind the plate for Hernandez?
Eric Gregg. Man, did he have a strike zone?
He was punching everybody out.
I mean, here's home plate. He
didn't fight
over here.
He had rotator cuff surgery after the game from punching. He was punching guys out.
It was the
ball was 3 feet outside. Boom.
Oh.
He told Charles Johnson. He told CJ, our catcher. He says, CJ,
University of Miami.
Right. Just catch the ball in the air, and I'll call it a strike. He said, I ain't staying. It was hot. He said, I ain't staying out here all afternoon. He said, I got a dinner date at 5:00. We got to get the heck out of here.
He needed the pitch clock.
Watch the game.
He needed the pitch clock.
It was unbelievable. Pitch clock. I mean, and Maddox was the other pitcher.
Yeah.
And he was calling pitches on our guys too. In that game, there were 23 guys called out on third strike. 23.
Wow.
I mean, he was ringing them up. Eric Gregg, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Oh, he was beautiful. He was beautiful.
Now, was he a good umpire?
He was a good umpire.
He was a good umpire, but every once in a while, I get a little out there.
He got caught up in the crowd. Every time he'd pump that strike, they would just roar.
Yeah.
And Levon was pitching.
And umpires have egos too.
And Latin fans are more they're crazier than our fans.
Yeah.
Half that ballpark was from Cuba when Levon pitched. So those Cubans, they had their flags going. And when after the first couple innings, they were screaming and yelling. I don't know what the heck they were saying. It was all in Latin, but he was punching them out. And Levon, I think, had 12, 13 punch
Oh
outs.
yeah.
And there were no swinging strikes. They're all called.
Yeah, because they're all about a foot
We
off
loved
the
it.
plate.
We loved it. They complained. We loved it. Hey, it worked out. Worked out good for us.
Last couple of questions. Just I don't know if you can put it in words, the immensity of the situation that these players and coaches are walking into, and how do you remind the players as a coach, while you're also trying to keep your own wits about you, to go through it without making it bigger than it is? Because it's still got to throw strikes, got to pick up the ball, throw it, hit it, and do all those things.
The hardest part is not on the field. It's what you read, what you hear on TV. Like you said, they blow it up. Every channel has it on, up. If you can compartmentalize and get in the game, it's the same game you played when you were in A-ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game. Once you're in the game, you play the game of baseball the way we've played it our whole lives, the way we coached it our whole lives. When a game's over, try not to listen to the noise. Try not to listen to the talk show host. They're going to have a field day, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't read the paper. Jim told the guys, do not read the paper, because they're going to, the articles are 9 miles long. The headlines are on the front page, not the sports page, the front page. So if you can, and I'll remember coaching during those games. I'm going, this is a game. It's the same game we played in spring training. The rules are the same. It's 60 feet, 6 inches to home. You get 3 outs every inning. The team that scores the most runs wins. It's the same thing. You bunt, you get a guy over, you do all the stuff that you do in a game. Don't make it any bigger during the game. When you're outside, let the fans do that. Let the people who buy the ticket make it. Let the media make it bigger. During the game, it's the same game you played. And that's the best advice Jim gave to our kids. He said, play the game the way you've always played it.
All right, last question.
Okay. Who do I got?
Who do you got?
Okay.
And who do you got? Why?
I've been
wait
thinking.
Wait a minute. Let me check in on this. I think we got another comment from Ron. Just to maybe local pitcher. Oh, here we go. Tim's checking in. Both teams in this year's World Series, just like the '97 Marlins. Agreed? Disagreed?
What do you think?
He's saying both teams in this year's World Series, just like the '97 Marlins. So maybe he reminded.
We were the wild card.
Yeah, I was going to say,
best team. Atlanta was the best team, and Cleveland was better than we were, but we beat them. So,
and then the follow-up, the Yankees Dodgers bought this World Series just like the '97 Florida Marlins.
Now,
that's what he said.
I got a comment.
Wayne Huizenga might have been.
I got a comment.
Okay, I'll leave.
Okay, here's my comment. People say we bought the World Series, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Leland had the best answer of all. He said, of the 4 teams that were left in the playoffs, the Marlins had the lowest payroll.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
And you know what? Here's the deal. I don't care how much you're making. It doesn't matter what job you have.
Don't matter.
Everybody has a good day. Everybody has a bad day. You can make. Hey,
the Tigers did good with a low payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Their payroll in the playoffs was $18 million, by the way. $18 million. The Royals were okay. Here's my pick.
Okay. Well, hold on. Ron checked in again. Ron never lets us get away. Jordan Rich is going, I was hoping to be out of here by lunch. You pray no player has a Bill Buckner moment that becomes a part of history in the wrong way. Absolutely. And it's we talked about a little bit, and I don't want to get off too far on this, but you think about a guy that, Deshaun Watson gets hurt up in Cleveland the other day. You don't wish that on anyone. No. You don't wish that on Bill Buckner. He had to live with that, or the kid from Chicago, the fan.
How about in our World Series, Tony Fernandez, one of the greatest fielders of all time, missed a routine ground ball.
Yep.
And that's why we won the game.
Yeah. So, yeah. You don't want to wish that on anybody.
No, it's awful.
It's I always tell people, look for the greatness.
Yeah.
Look for the great. Yeah, guys are going to make mistakes. Guys are going to bobble it. There was the double play in the Yankees Indians game on Saturday night.
Yeah.
They had the ball. He took his eyes off the ball, trying to make the double play. Ball comes out. Yankees players are cheering because they're excited that they keep the inning going.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's cheering for somebody else to make mistakes because no one wants to live with that.
No, don't do that.
So, anyways, all right. Ron, are we good? I want to make sure.
Maybe Ron should do the show, and I'll call in.
All right. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Here we go.
Okay. I'm
sitting back. I'm taking notes.
In college, I was drafted in the 9th round by the Yankees.
Okay.
The Yankees were my favorite team. Yogi Berra, I wore number 8 all the way through Little League. He was my man.
Yeah.
I loved him. I love the Yankees. Why? They were winners.
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Joe DiMaggio back in the day,
Both the lineups
Casey
they had.
Stengel,
Yeah.
the Yankees.
Whitey
All you heard,
Ford.
that's all. All you heard was the Yankees. I love the Yankees. I love them to death, and they were my favorite team growing up. The Yankees did not sign me, and for that reason, I'm picking the Dodgers in 6.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, there you go. That's as good as a reason as any. Well, why did he pick against them? Well, here you go. I just need to get your opinion on this. Excuse me. Juan Soto.
Oh,
He's just, as people say, he's just a dog.
he's the best high fastball hitter in baseball, and he did it the other day. The ball was up.
But how about the conversation he was having with the pitcher while I was on the bench?
Like throw the
after,
ball.
but after he'd hit the home run.
He's
on the bench talking to the pitcher, going, "You thought you could get that by me?" And it was he's so locked in.
He's so good. He's so good. He was telling the pitcher, if you watch the game,
Mm-hmm.
he's talking to the pitcher, saying, "I got you. I got you. You ain't got nothing for me."
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and guess what?
He didn't.
He ain't got nothing for me.
Yeah. He filed a couple off, and you can see he's looking back out staring. I'm like, "All right, bring it. Come on, give me." Unbelievable.
He's a free agent, by the way, this year.
How much money is he gonna make? Just back the truck up.
Yeah,
Just back the truck
that's
up.
Right.
Is there any way the Yankees can't sign him?
They got the money to.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the other suiter is right across town waiting.
The Mets, yeah.
The Mets got money too.
You signed. Well, you put all of a sudden you've got Lindor, who finally he figured it out because when he first got to New York,
it would be funny if Alonso went to the Yankees and Soto went to the Mets. They're both free agents. Or you get them on the same team.
And the Yankees don't necessarily have someone that's locked in at first base.
No, they don't. You never know. You never know.
It's a great game. It's great. And the thing is, it's a great game off the field, on the field, to talk about.
Great time of year.
Can't thank you enough. Enjoy the World Series, and if it goes to Game 7, I may be calling just to get the breakdown for Game 7, because you may know a thing or two about final games, championship games.
I just wondered, the question I had is, how many Dodger dogs will be consumed in this World Series?
Well, if you were eating 3 a game before the game,
you could eat 3 easy.
So if you go 4 games, that's 12 just for you,
and 3 after the game.
You didn't tell me about that the last time.
I took them home. Yeah, I had the guy.
So that's 6.
I had the kid run up to the concession stand and give me 3. They're like gumdrops. You can eat them.
So 6 times 4.
Oh yeah, 24.
So we get 24. So that's just you in 4 games.
They were the best. Yeah.
And so then you get how many is that hold in that stadium? 60,000.
60,000. Yeah.
So if everybody had one,
that's a lot of Dodger dogs.
That's a lot of Dodger dogs. And I'm thinking they have more than that.
That's a lot of mustard.
It's a lot of people making it. How many people's livelihoods are made off of Major League Baseball that don't?
Yeah.
People don't think about that a lot of times.
That's what's good for these World Series. The concession workers, the people who work in a parking lot, the people that whatever. It's an extra 7 days.
Extra 7 days, and
the beer salesman, the tips.
How many? Yeah, I was gonna say how many tips? The usher. Can you show me that?
The usher, show me.
And that's the fun. How many people don't realize that you should tip the usher?
How about the restaurants in the area?
Oh, through the roof.
Everything.
Through the roof.
Right.
Everything goes up.
Yeah.
Everything. One of the first report, I had no idea what I was doing. First report I did when I got to Pittsburgh, PXI, the Steelers had just beaten Baltimore on Sunday night to qualify for the playoffs. It would have been 2001. So we're going to play the December game. So I said, Bill, after you sign all this paperwork that says you can work here now, you need to go out and do the financial impact of the Steelers making the. And I'm thinking, I don't know where anything is.
How do I know? Yeah.
So finally, they took pity of me. They got Jack, the oldest photographer, there, and he goes, "I'll take care of you." So we went down the strip. We went and talked to the people who sold the T-shirts.
It's amazing.
Went to the West End.
Look at all the bars in the area in both cities.
And that's what they said. They said it's fantastic. It's more days to sell our stuff.
Everything.
Yeah, and in a city like Pittsburgh, they don't miss buying anything. It's gonna be great. So again, haven't mentioned this, but it's gonna be on Fox 9, game number 1, Friday night. Sports Friday will be on after that, along with our newscast. We'll have Sports Friday on the web. But game 1, Friday night, Dodgers, Yankees in LA. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And Tim, check back in. Hold on. We go Ohtani. All right. So Rich is Ron, Tim. We gotta get Rich out of here. He wants to go home. Otani home run versus Mets is still being tracked by a NORAD tracker. That's a good possibility.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim's coming with a little sarcasm humor. Does he still send Jose Mesa, Joe the Table, a Christmas card every year?
No, but on October 28th of every year, I do. Thank you, Jose.
I'll tell you what, and he was so good that year.
Yeah,
You guys just got to him.
We got him,
and that's the thing. I gotta stop. Because I know you gotta go. If you get, and I know this as a pitcher, if you're in a short series and the guy that is ungettable for the whole season is suddenly gettable in game 3, and then he's out there in game 5. And we got to game 7. We've gotten him once. Maybe we've got him again. Are the memories that good? But you start to get a little. Yeah. Well, if you can get into someone's head a little bit.
Back in the old days, real quick, the 7-inning series, the number one pitcher started 3 games.
Yeah,
that don't happen no more. With the pitch counts. So Garrett Cole's going to pitch this game and game 5.
Yeah,
and that's it. Will they bring him in relief in game 7? They probably will. You do everything unconventional in 7 because there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. Or do you start him in game 7 since it's routine?
That's what I mean. You do everything unconventional.
Go 2 innings, 3 innings.
Like Jim Lee, he said every time you try to trick somebody, usually
you trick yourself.
You trick yourself.
All right, here we go, and we're gonna end it with this. We thought he was Mariano Rivera. Huh? Yeah, he was in the day. In the day, Jose Mesa was one of the top dogs when it came to closers. He was pretty good. Okay, you remember the 2 rules: have fun and always try your best. I had fun. I tried my best.
So did I.
I think Rich tried his best. I hope he had some fun.
Hope you guys had a good time with it.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about everything. It's did we set a new record, Jordan?
First went too far.
Oh, we're almost at 55 minutes.
Happy birthday, Jordan.
Rich, can't thank you enough. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Just love hearing you tell stories and talk baseball and strategy and all the things that go into it. Can't thank you enough. We'll be ready game 7. We'll make that date. The morning of game 7, we'll get together and do this again.
Good. We'll go to the racetrack before the game, though.
Absolutely. I want to shake on that. Let's go.
I'll see you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Remember, 2 rules. Have fun and always try your best. We'll see you next time.